Hi everyone, I'm Shelly from There's No Place Like Home at redheadmom8.wordpress.com. I can only sit and watch the news about the things that are going on in school for so long before I have to come out and say something. And at this point in time, even for me to go a week without saying something is stretching it. So yeah, it's time for another one of these videos because school indoctrination is out of control. Once upon a time, every parent believed that the public education system was in place to give children a free education. That's what it's advertised as. That's what we hear about it all the time, is that this is just the government's way of trying to help its citizens by giving them a free education, because who wouldn't want that? The fact is, though, is that our public education system was never about academics, and it will never be about academics. And it's just gotten to the point now where people are so dumbed down from generations of this brainwashing that you can basically do anything to kids in school nowadays, and most parents will not bat an eye, or if they do, they'll complain about it. Some of them might even go to a school board meeting and give a passionate speech about it, but at the end of the day, they will send their child back to the same school that is perpetrating these atrocities against kids. So let's just go over some of the things that are going on in school nowadays. And this isn't even like an exhaustive list. This is just something that I have seen like in the past couple weeks, and a lot of these are not isolated situations. They're things that are going on consistently. But let's just talk about this. So first of all, we just recently had all of this climate change stuff going on with Greta Thunberg, and we had children who took the day off of school with the blessing of their schools to go protest climate change. And these kids are petrified that the world is coming to an end. They are driven to anxiety. They are driven to depression. There are kids who are vowing to never have children because they honestly believe that the end is near. And where are they getting this from? They are getting this in a large part from the school setting, from the school system. Because if the school system did not agree with what is going on, they would never have excused these kids to, forego the real academics. And okay, real academics I have to use lightly when it comes to public education. I'm sorry, but I do. But, they allowed those kids to leave school for the day to go and do all of this climate protesting. And it is so disheartening to see the level of stress that children today are facing. And I'm not, at first I was seeing teenagers who were talking about this. No, there are children, elementary school children, who are so scared to death about climate change. This is all indoctrination. This is coming, again, in a large part from the school system, and it's also supplemented by social media and the mainstream media, if you actually follow that, which I do not. And yeah, in some cases, it is the parents as well. But this has got to stop. You cannot put these kids in a level of anxiety that they are sinking into deep depressions and are living in despair. So beyond that, okay, we have schools. I just saw an article the other day. There is a school who gave a teenage girl a birth control implant without the knowledge of her parents. All right. And when the mother actually questioned it, the nurse was told, "I don't have to tell you anything." Oh, really? So they gave a birth control implant to a minor at school without parental knowledge at all, no parental permission, nothing. Somehow that's okay. And beyond that, beyond giving birth control implants at school, which again, what does this have to do with education? Absolutely nothing. It has to do with the globalist agenda, which we will talk about lately. But I have read that there are even schools who will they don't provide themselves, but they will transport students to and from abortion centers, again, without parental permission. What does this have to do with learning to read and write and do math? Nothing at all, because again, this is a clear sign that school is about indoctrination. It is not about education. So beyond that, okay, there's more. We have schools that are teaching kids that there are 100 genders. Gone are the days that schools will teach actual facts. Now what they teach are whatever the latest ideology is. And that is exactly what this is. And again, this is something that is going to support the globalist agenda, which, I will do another video on that in the future. But suffice it to say that all of these things, pushing kids to not have children because, the climate catastrophe, and then giving kids birth control implants without parental knowledge, teaching kids that there are 100 genders, and pushing this LGBTQ agenda. These are all globalist tactics to push for the depopulation agenda, which if you have not looked into Agenda 21 or Agenda 2030, you need to do it. Okay, so some other things that are going on in school right now. Now, not specifically in school, but in libraries. Libraries which are funded by school taxes are having drag queen story hours for kids. So we have parents who are, have kids as young as 4 years old, taking their kids to these drag queen story hours at libraries that are funded by school taxes. And again, that just goes right with that indoctrination that they are getting in school. And again, this indoctrination, nothing to do with academics. They are trying to socially engineer these children. That is what they are doing. You will hear teachers talking about how school is about social and emotional learning as well as academic learning. Well, here's the thing. Social learning is pretty funny because I overheard my neighbor say that her daughter got a point taken off in school the other day because she, had the transgression of talking in the hall. Okay. And so school is not about social learning at all. Now, emotional learning is none of the school's business. What they are trying to do is they are trying to direct children to think a certain way. And that is why they are pushing and pushing and pushing with these agendas. You have got to be careful. If you have kids in school, why? That's all that I can ask at this point in time is why do you still have your kids there if you know that this stuff is going on? And now the latest thing that I see, and I've actually had a few people come up to me and talk to me about this, is that now schools are starting to teach mindfulness and they're doing meditation in the morning. And some schools even have, like the principals saying things over the loudspeakers while the kids are meditating. Mindfulness comes from Eastern religion. It comes from the Buddhist religion. It comes from those Eastern religions. I know I'm repeating myself, but that's where it's coming from. So let's think about this. They took prayer out of school because of separation of church and state, because they're saying that, the state, aka school, cannot embrace a certain religion and or promote a certain religion. That is exactly what they are doing with this meditation. Kids should not be meditating in school. They should be learning how to read, write, and do math. If your kids are doing meditation in school, you need to just tell the school that your child cannot participate in that. Because, if you're awake to this and your kids are still in school, you're running out of time and you're running out of excuses. This is your responsibility and it's time to act. And, I'm at the point now where I'm just beyond frustration because there are so many parents who are complaining about this stuff and the things that they're going through. And yeah, they are speaking out about it. But if your child is going through this, why are you sending them back? It's time to get your kids out of school. It's not about education. That's all that I have for you today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet and would like to hear more of what I have to say, I would love if you would do that. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave one over on Instagram because YouTube disables my comments. And if you like what I do, you can check out my Patreon page and see what rewards I have for my patrons there. And I just want to give a shout out to Fritzy today. Thank you so much for becoming a patron. This means so much to me just to know that I have other like-minded people who support what I do, and it is such an encouragement to me. And I hope you all have a great day.